My name is Leslie Williams, and I'm in San Diego, California, and today's date is April 15th, 2012. And this is the very first video that I'm taking with this camera. I just bought it at Walmart, and I'm actually going to probably have to take it back because Walmart only allows 15 days for it might break down for me to return it, and because of the simple fact that as a result of being a target of organized stalking, they screw around with your electronic equipment. You can go to YouTube and type in Connie Marshall. She went through 5 fax machines, 4 computers, 7 TVs, and I thought that I'd be able to charge the battery of this particular video camera separate from the actual video camera, but it turns out I can't, so I didn't discover that until after I bought it. Anyways, my name is Leslie Williams, and I am in San Diego, California, and I'm not that great at making videos. I'm a little video shy, so just bear with me. I'm a target of organized stalking, which is also called gangStalking, electronic harassment, the computer-to-brain feedback loop, and remote neural monitoring, remote neural influencing, and remote neural stimulating. Whenever a target is picked for these types of expeditions, they are isolated, and usually that is achieved through slander, bribery, bartering, intimidation, and so on and so forth. Extreme, huge lies are told about the target in order to keep the isolation going, so that the targeting can occur and continue without outside public scrutiny. And this is one of the reasons why I make my videos. Now, if you go to YouTube and Google and type in David Larson and James Walbert and listen to the Down the Rabbit Hole Popeye videos, you can start to understand in part another aspect of how I am being tortured. I have at least 5 neural cognitive weapons in my body, one at least on the top of my head, at least one in both of my ears. I believe I have one on my back shoulder blade, one in my bladder, one in my foot, one in my hand, and possibly one in my mouth. I definitely had one put up through my nose, and all of this happened in Dearborn, Michigan, and when I was a child as well. You can go to Google and type in Oakwood Hospital, Dearborn, Michigan, doctor caught falsely diagnosing hundreds of kids with epilepsy and putting implants in their heads. That was occurred between 2008 and 2010. He got caught, and that was the same exact hospital in the same calendar year I was duped to go into by someone who had infiltrated my life through friendly appearing means, and duped me to go in there for services. They told me I could go in and get all these services, possibly to help me find an apartment, so on and so forth, and if I just tell them I'm suicidal. And that was done for brain entrainment, so to get me to believe it and act out on it. And so then as a result of that, a neural network was created. And the reason why that was done was because what they're into is brain entrainment. And what is brain entrainment? Brain entrainment is where they get you to believe something and then act on it, so they can identify and mark the neural network and the motor cortex associated behaviors that are attached to that neural network in reference to the thought process that they get you to they put an idea in your head, they get you to think about it, and then you act on it. That's a neural network. Okay, the evoked potentials, the thought processes, and the associated motor cortex behaviors. That's one neural network. They identify that neural network using remote neural monitoring, and then they identify it and mark it, and can stimulate it back into current consciousness in real time on any date to bring everything that is in that neural network back into current consciousness to be rethought and reacted upon. And they basically entrained that neural process in order to exploit my Medicare. They were making thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars each and every time I broke down and went to 911 as a result of being stimulated over and over again in the same harassment campaign that I was experiencing nonstop in the midst of it. And but I didn't know it was a lie. I didn't know doctors were associated to these campaigns at all. But the entrainment had already taken place, and they kept stimulating it over and over and over again. And this was done, of course, to book the Medicare and for the false diagnoses to cover their butt concerning why they were booking the Medicare. You would not believe the crimes that are happening towards me on a daily basis. I am subjected to what is called the computer-to-brain feedback loop, where the electronic harassment and the remote neural monitoring is hooked up in one computer run by artificial intelligence. Go to Google and YouTube and listen to the remote neural monitoring YouTube videos, and then Google extensively remote neural monitoring in order to be able to understand what it is, what it's capable of, and then thoroughly research it extensively. Continue to research it in order to be able, and that includes targets, blogs, in order to get an idea about how we're harassed, even about our own thought processes, how we're surveilled in reference to, like, if a target has a thought, I'm going to go to Walmart today. Through the monitoring of remote neural monitoring, they know it. And that's where they take that information in order to put the organized stalkers along your path en route to Walmart and at Walmart. And this is done for harassment purposes. You're also harassed through the electronic harassment based on what the remote neural monitoring is reading in reference to your thoughts. They harass you about everything. Everything. Anything you're doing, literally. And it's all about to try and psychologically undermine you about your own thought processes, the theme and nature of your thought processes. It's to literally harass you about anything that you might even be doing, because everything that I might be doing, I'm seeing that I'm doing. Like if I'm cleaning my teeth with a toothpick, they'll say, why is she doing that? Yeah, because everything that I see, my visual cortex sees. And as a result, they see it on the remote neural monitoring. The artificial intelligence picks the best conversations to transmit back to the target based on what the remote neural monitor reads, and then transmit electronic harassment back to the target based on what it's reading. So a target is literally harassed about anything. The remote neural monitor can also literally ascertain all your physiological responses. Like if I'm literally getting ready to burp and the burp is coming up, the remote neural monitor will pick through the artificial intelligence dialogue for the electronic harassment to spit back towards the target, even based on a burp or the coming up of a burp. It literally does this. And that's just one section of what targets put up with on a non-stop basis. From the very second I wake up, I am literally subjected to non-stop electronic harassment based on anything that I'm doing, because I see what I'm doing, based on anything my audio cortex is processing, like my internal dialogue, because subvocal speech is heard by your audio cortex. This is literally what I put up with just in the electronic harassment aspect of it. Then they use also, again, like I have already mentioned, they use remote neural monitoring to monitor what your plans are for the day, so they can get the organized stalkers along your route, okay, to already be there at places you're going to, and your transportation routes getting there. Like, if I think to myself, I'm going to go to Walmart, and they know my regular routines as far as what transportation routes and where I'm at as far as where I might be hiking at, they literally put people on the 928 bus, so when I get on the bus, I have to see them engage in gangStalking, organized stalking, physical gestures. It's called visual anchoring and audio anchoring. The audio anchoring is directly tied to the tactic of direct conversations, and the visual anchoring has to do with where they anchor specific physical gestures for a target to see on a non-stop basis every single day along all of the routes throughout the whole duration of where they might be at. Whether it's on a bus route, that's like if I got on a Greyhound for 7 hours, a target is subject to seeing repetitive behaviors non-stop. And why do they do that? They do that in order to be able to, whenever a target is first picked, they're usually traumatized, including rape. And what they'll do when they're traumatizing a target is they'll associate certain things that are said or certain physical gestures that are done while the traumatization is taking place. As a result, the target remembers the victimization and remembers the associated behaviors and statements that were made as they were being traumatized, while the body stores a physiological response in reference to not only the trauma, but everything that was witnessed as the trauma was occurring. So then what they'll do is associate certain statements, comments, and physical gestures when a trauma is occurring, and then have people get along a target's route and either have them re-mention things that were said during the trauma, or what they'll do is reenact specific things that were done as the trauma was occurring to get the body to get the mind to remember it, and then to have the body physiologically respond again to it, because the body and the mind stored the mental pictures of what they witnessed as they were being traumatized, and the body stored all the original physiological responses in reference to what it's seen and heard as it was being traumatized. That's like when a Vietnam vet comes back from the Vietnam War. Whenever he hears a helicopter, he's automatically brought back to that day when he was in a hot zone, and you know, a lot of massive you know, shooting going on around him. You know, he's thinking, I gotta, you know, I'm in the midst of really bad stuff here. I could get killed. And so the mind and body stores all that anticipation, anxiety, and everything, and that's what I mean. They're directly attached. They deliberately and intentionally, with total malice aforethought, create post-traumatic stress and do nothing but get along your route to make a target remember how they have traumatized you, to keep your mind and body constantly reacting to it. And this is nothing but called covert and overt psychological, mental, and emotional traumatization and re-traumatization. And this is what us targets put up with on a daily basis while we're homeless, because they get landlords on board to steal your rent, postal employees on board to steal your rent if you mailed it, like if you mailed it in the mail, certified mail return receipt. This is literally what us targets have to live with on a daily basis. They get the business community in on these harassment campaigns. Everywhere I go, I'm subjected to people doing this. They literally ride by me as I'm sitting here making this video, and as they ride by me, they'll do this or this. Okay, this is done for sexual inferences, you know, to make, you know what that represents. And this is what they do, because the whole goal is to keep you disassociated, because every time you're reminded of a trauma, see, when you're traumatized, your mind becomes disassociated as the traumatization is occurring. So whenever it's reminded about the traumatization, the mind goes right back to that disassociated state. So it's all about keeping a target crowded out from their own thinking, their own clarity, mental clarity, to never let them have mental peace whatsoever, because it's a computer that transmits the electronic harassment. And then they just get people in the community to harass the target in these specific ways, like this and this, or patting the top of their head, or stroking their head back. And it's all done on a non-stop, repeated basis every single day throughout the whole route, all of the routes of a target, throughout the whole duration of each route. Okay, so if I'm on a bus for a half hour, I got to experience it nonstop. If I'm on a trolley for a half hour, I got to experience it nonstop. I go to USD, I experience it nonstop. I go to SDSU, I experience it nonstop. Then I go into the bathroom. They have people come in the bathroom and do it. And this includes also direct conversation tactics. It's nonstop literal harassment between electronic harassment and the organized stalkers. And they get everybody and anybody on board to do this towards targets, because the intimidation in this kind of harassment is done through cost-effective means, because it's done by slander, by getting people in the community to do things for them practically for free in a cost-effective manner, because they got to make money off the target breaking down, the Medicare insurance, and the eventual taking over the target's finances by claiming the target can't take care of themselves because they're homeless, even though they're the ones who created the homelessness. Yeah. So the whole goal is Medicare exploitation, to take over a target Social Security checks through a syndicated probate attorney and a syndicated probate judge. Doctors are involved in these schemes, social services workers, Social Security workers, police officers, firefighters, you name it, the list goes on. All you got to do is Google everything I'm saying and cross-reference it to organized stalking and or gang stalking. My name is Leslie Williams, and this is what us targets experience on a non-stop basis every single day, everywhere we go, and throughout all of our waking hours. And then when we go to sleep, we're subjected to what is called artificial dreams. That is directly mentioned in the remote neural monitoring file. And we're talking about dreams they create through virtual reality software, and their traumatization dreams. People being raped, people being traumatized, beat up, other strange stuff. And you would not believe what they actually even engage in the phantom touch and messing around with your central nervous system as you're experiencing these dreams. Just thoroughly scrutinize everything I'm saying to you in reference to the description of what I'm saying. Cross-reference it all to everything I've described, like remote neural monitoring, electronic harassment. Go to www.surveillanceissues.com and listen to, and thoroughly scrutinize everything under the hearing voices features. Go to www.freedom from covert harassment and surveillance. Thoroughly scrutinize electronic harassment, the computer-to-brain feedback loop, remote neural monitoring, remote neural influencing, remote neural stimulating, and organized stalking, which is also called gangStalking, and you'll clearly be able to scrutinize and understand, and also RFID implants, BCI implants, stimulated responsive implants, transreceiver implants, ICT implants. You would not believe what they're doing to just normal, everyday citizens who do nothing wrong because they are totally 100% involved in organized crime that is within the system, that is hosting this, protecting it, allowing it, and making money off of it. I'm in San Diego, California right now. I'm learning disabled, and this is what I put up with on a daily basis. And I'm just only going to mention one police officer's name right now that I totally remember. His name is Barney Olson. He's a sergeant detective in the Eastern Division Police Station. He is directly involved, literally, in this crime towards me in San Diego, California. And you know what they do to targets who whistleblow? They call them crazy by using county mental health. They stage a street theater out in the community to provoke a target or assault a target, and then they stage the witnesses, blame it on the target, and then send them to county mental health to have them discredited by one of their syndicated corrupt mental health officials. Yeah. Google organized stalking and or gangStalking to corrupt mental health, and you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. My name is Leslie Williams. I'm learning disabled. I'm in San Diego, California. I experience this on a daily basis, and I expose this to help people understand what's happening to me, my fellow targets, and to help current targets who might not understand yet what's happening towards them. Also, another section of the electronic harassment is called Scalar Projected Audible Distinguishable Signals. Go to www.surveillanceissues.com and scrutinize everything under the Hearing Voices feature. Thank you.